All right, we are live. I'll start a little early so I can just get the jump on things. Um, this is the 17th session, composition session, I think I'm calling it a dream workshop session. Um, so first off, let's talk about some videos to look at for our channel, especially if you're interested in like composing and making your own music. It requires lots of self-discipline. That's what I always tell people that are looking to get into it. But it is possible. This video here. Oh, actually, I want to start with session one. So the first time I started showing like the background of like how creating music goes was this video right here. This song is actually coming out pretty soon. It's another Endless Journal song. This video was made, I think, in 2021. It's over a year. This song I wrote a long time ago and just kind of kept it. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get through the composition, and then you start realizing I have no idea how to release this song. I need a frame. And at this point, I started realizing how important it was to have a frame. So for instance, Inner Cafe, the frame would be the Endless Journal. It has its own style, it's a unique look, and it's going to be, grouped with Dissociate. This song at the time had no frame, so I didn't really push it past like practice. Like we didn't record, we didn't rehearse it. I just wrote it and kind of kept it in the background. We rehearsed it in another dream session. I think it was 15. We actually rehearsed the song a little bit. I recorded all my parts, sent the click tracks to the other members. I'll show you what that looks like too. But this was the very first time I thought about doing something like this. As musicians, we all have a perfectionist complex, kind of. I think most musicians. And I'm starting to see that more and more YouTubers are starting to talk about that side of musicianship. The reason a lot of people don't think they can do music is because they think that they have to be this perfect person, but in reality, none of us are really perfect. None of us are. It's a facade in some shape. Especially YouTube musicians, it's multiple takes. It's practice. We don't show that side too often. But a stream like this is hopefully trying to change that kind of mentality as far as music goes. And I got asked a question today, and I answered it wrong. I always answer it wrong. They asked me, what's your main instrument? And I thought about it. I'm like, I guess piano, but in reality, I have no main instrument. An instrument is an instrument that makes music. That's what instruments are to me. Composing is what I do. Making music is the goal, not being proficient at one. This is another composition session. This is for Crappy Christmas. One of the things I don't like about like the styles going for with these videos is I kind of diminished the song itself and just made it, hey, this interesting tool I use to write a song, rather than explaining what the song is about. I think I kind of do, but more emphasis is on the creation aspect of it. But this is still cool, using a random number generator. Maybe I'll do that again someday. So if you want to see how that went, I thought it turned out really good. And I was using new vocal techniques and all sorts of things on that song, Crappy Christmas. So this is kind of the making of that track, but the title is like doesn't really say it. So those are like some old videos I thought I would promote here, just because they're kind of the start of what I'm doing now with the streaming. And of course, streaming, I'm able to get them out a lot faster. With these videos, they're edited to like fit in like 10 or 12 minutes. And that takes time. Time I could be doing music and composing rather than editing a video together. That's the main goal. Something I do want to call out, a lot of my old videos from the past are being taken down. The ones where I react to music and the ones where I talk about musicians, a lot of them are getting taken down. I think it's inevitable that most of them will be taken down because those little documentaries show music clips, and YouTube is getting better at detecting past the old tricks that I used to do. So they're getting taken down. I think John de Arc was the most recent victim. And I'm not going to re-edit an old video to keep it back up because everything I have on that video is gone. So update there with the channel in that regard. There will be some streams where I do listen to music, but I think it'll be like I put a link to the song I'm listening to and we all listen to it together, rather than me playing it here and getting taken down. But yeah, those are some old videos I thought I'd share. This is our newest song, came out I think last week. It's part of the Endless Journal project, just like kind of like Melancholy Dream was its own frame. This is another frame. Each thumbnail has a page number. I'm not really advertising that too much in like the titles because there's, just like Melancholy Dream, it's another big puzzle that I'm making. These songs will be released quite frequently though, and Dissociate is another one of those. But the song I have here is not Dissociate, it is Dream, and that is because I'm super behind on mixing for Dreamcrack. Dreamcrack is our album that we're gonna release, and it'll have a similar release style that like Melancholy Dream, where it's like every video is like a new song, just back to back to back. So it'll kind of have a release schedule like that. I want to be like at least 5 songs ahead before I start releasing anything. And this is the title track. And my goal today is to mix this one. And I also have the composition song too, which is the same as the one last week. I worked on it a little more throughout the week off stream. Added a trombone part because I know a trombone player. So I want to get them in on this, you know. Always about incorporating as much people I know that can play instruments. Because everyone, like, you don't have to be professional, you know. I've worked with a cello player on Jumbo, and I want to work with more musicians, you know, other than just Phoenix Splash. Have us all like, hey, this it's a beautiful thing, you know. All right, so I think that's a good introduction for this stream. Thank you for tuning in, and we will begin. This might get trippy because the song is kind of trippy. So first off, I'm going to organize things. Everything is recorded, and even that's like kind of an asterisk because that could always change. I could always think, hey, maybe we need something else here. But this week, what was keeping it from being mixed was an electric keyboard part I was hearing in my head. And I'm like, it's not there yet. I need to record it. And in my to-do list, I had mix Dream, but not record electric piano. You need all the instruments to be able to mix. At least the way I want to. So it looks like everything is pretty much organized. Just this click track it's not here. We can get rid of that. I was thinking of changing some words in the vocal part, but I think I'm not going to do that. And even if I decide to do that later, it's just one word, so we can still begin mixing. One thing I want to do here is eliminate the silence in the vocal part here. So I'm going to do some editing to prepare for mixing. So this is From the Dream. Good. Alright, so we want to just get rid of some of that silence. Because I can't really hear any lip smacking, but it could be there. So this looks like it has something here. Let's see. So we want to keep all of that. Because that's my that little shape there. And rebuild. This is the duh. This little graphic here. Actually, it's not. Oh, it is. Okay. So we're gonna. Oh, what's going on here? I already know there's a problem here. This part is much louder than everything else. So don't be afraid. And we're gonna figure out how to fix that. I don't think I need to re-record it. So don't be afraid. Okay, we want to keep all that sound. Take my hand. There's the duh here. Get that as close as possible. This is unite. I was thinking of changing this word to involve. Unite. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. What happens if I might be a feedback loop? I don't want to do that. I was thinking about recording like right now because I have the mic hooked up. Not that I record vocals sitting down, but for this song it's not that much. But unite and understand I think is more sounds better than involve and understand. And understand. So I'm gonna get rid of whatever that is. It's a I don't know what that is, but we can get rid of that. I might have like touched the mic. And then here we want to just understand. Alright, that should be good. And that's the piano down here. We don't want to do the same thing to the piano, obviously, because those notes are ringing. But yeah, this is our vocal part. This is a technique I do. I don't think everyone agrees with it. Cutting out the sign. I think most people will. Some people put noise gates, but at least when I do it, there's always like some kind of thing it interferes with. Noise gate is like an easy fix for getting rid of background noise, but doing this, it's like due diligence, you know. That's my vocal. Looks like it already has an effect on it. And we want to put this electric piano part in the Hatman folder because that's the character's instrument. We're just going to listen to it and just mess around with some of these. Looks like some of them are already kind of done. So look at all the instruments here. So there's one drum. So there's two drums. That's like a big floor tom hit with mallets and hit with different sticks. I'm going to go ahead and delete metronome completely. This track is no longer needed. Everything is recorded. I'm not getting it prepared for other musicians. Tribe is going to be pretty good. I'm going to do this with Tribe. Well, he starts the whole song, so it should be okay. So we'll decide if I want the feedback here. So as we can hear, we want this to be like the perfect performance, and we can already hear some stuff happening. So since this is Dream, like if it were like a normal album, I guess I would leave that tambourine in there, but I want it to be as clean as possible, at least in the beginning. my volume up. Okay. So it's I'm gonna lower their volume a little bit. Should I EQ this drum? So I've never done something like this before. Let's see. So I'll do one here. So this makes it more bassy. I think it's already bassy enough. I think that sounds okay actually, without any EQ. There's nothing I want to bring out. I think with this it's important I EQ with both because it's voice mixing, even though, so when you have two instruments playing the exact same thing, it's called, I think it's called voice mixing or something. In this case, it's two floor toms with two different sticks, tuned to the same pitch, but they're still different. So we're gonna EQ with that in mind. Okay, so I'm EQing here. So what I've done is I've taken out all the bass in this drum because this drum is hit with wooden stick. This drum is hidden with yarn. So with the yarn stick, it's gonna have more boom, and with the wooden stick, it's gonna have more attack, like the sound of the stick hitting the drum. So I'm gonna, this EQ emphasizes that. And I think I want to bring left a little closer. I want them to be more mixed here. So we're gonna treat this is chant. It looks like there's some marimba mixing going on, or marimba editing. I'm pretty sure it's fine. It's the cool thing with Reaper, I don't have to worry about that too much. We have the chanter over here. We're gonna mix before he comes in. So we have a burning fire, so, and we have the ninja. Where is he? ASP. Okay, so I'm gonna call out this track Ninja, and since it's because sometimes he plays more than one instrument, and they're kind of like the same styles, like sound effect. So we want to keep the name of the instrument here is ASP, but we want to make sure we know what that is. Sometimes I forget, like, what is ASP? Like, those instruments are just so weird. So if I'm gonna start the track here, I think, let's see. I don't know, I think I still want some fire. Maybe it'll fade out like when the marimba comes in. Yeah, as you can see, I didn't record Fire on my own. I went to a free sound library, public domain, to get it. Yeah, use everything you can, man. You don't have to make every recording. It certainly saves a lot of time than me starting a fire and getting mics and recording it. There's sound libraries out there. There's even like loops, guitar loops that are on that side as well. So like, and I've heard people like using them too. I feel like it's better without the EQ for this bass one. Let's see. Oh yeah, let me because the other band members are pretty good at mixing too. So I'll tell them I'm streaming in case they have input. But with this song, I don't know if they are. Streaming now, boys. Today we watched Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's not anything really to rehearse right now because we kind of know like what everything is. So we just hang out like when we don't rehearse. Just a simple hangout today because we're all still friends. Alright, so drum set and bass guitar are about to enter, so I want to EQ these already. And looks like they're panned, so I did some of the work already. Okay, so we're going to start with bass drum. And what I'm doing right now is I'm putting EQ on it. And EQs are something I like and don't like. You know, to me, I mean, it makes sense. Like, we do have pretty good mics, but there's always like little things we can add. And what I do is I start with the presets. Like, I got just downloaded presets for Reaper. I think they come with them now. For these, like, rock snare. The thing with this snare, though, is going to be a little different because it's like an extra tom in this song. The snare is off, I believe. So we'll play around with the EQ on the snare. And tom 1 will keep the preset going. And I actually, what I did with my EQs is I changed them a little bit and saved those presets. So I'm applying those that I've used. So these are like the same presets for a song like Inner Cafe, which is a totally different song, totally different style than this. So it might need a little bit different EQ. But yeah, I tend to start with drums because that's the hardest. It's the hardest to mix in EQ. Alright. Floor tom. And overhead can get kind of weird too if there's a lot of cymbals, which there isn't. I know they're kind of loud with these new mics. Especially, not so much on this song, but on another song. So I'm going to put the cymbal EQ, and hopefully that doesn't make it too much louder. And I also mess with the panning on the overheads too. Like, sometimes they're not always all the way. Though in this song, I think they will be, because there's not that much cymbals. And I don't think there's any hi-hat at all. Alright. So we're going to listen to the drums come in. Make sure we can hear every tom that he plays. I'm going to mute the bass guitar for now. The drums are fading in. Yeah, there it is. Okay, that chanter. It's like it's a magical chant. So it's gonna sound very magical mixing in this mixing session. I could mute him. Where is he? Yeah, I could mute him. 'Cause I'm gonna be stopping a lot. I need to make sure he doesn't get drowned out, so I can't mute him. All right. Okay, so it looks like we can hear everything there. So there's two paths I could take here with the bass guitar and the Tewa drum over here. So if I remove the EQ, the Tewa drum has a lot of bass. If I keep it, it takes away the bass, and I want to see if that makes a difference when the bass guitar comes in. So I'm going to listen to both of these. Drums are okay for now. Cymbals not so much ear piercing as it was. And I've had these like recorded, and I've been listening to them like when I work out, when I exercise. I have the songs on repeat. Just listening to them on not the best headphones, but like sometimes it's good to listen on like really bad headphones, which you'll never hear anyone say. Because like if the cymbals are really too loud, you'll really hear it on really bad headphones. Like it's like, okay, they're way too loud. Sometimes you need that kick. Sometimes it's obvious for people, sometimes it's not. And when you listen on bad headphones, the should be obvious like is like, okay, it's not just me. They're gonna break these headphones. Alright, so we're gonna listen to bass. We're going to do without EQ first. So I'm going to take off the EQ on drum 1. So it sounds pretty good. It's not like really going for a bassy tone. Should I EQ the bass? Let me see. So bass EQ, Chris already kind of does his own thing, but you know, I could EQ it if I want to. It sounds good. I just want to see how it sounds like this. So the loop pass, which means I have to turn this sucker up. to see if this ruins that last bass fill. If it does, then I think I like it more punchy. Yeah, that way you can hear those notes more. Yeah. And that's another thing people might not agree with. But making your bass punchy when you have lots of bass fills. If the bass was just going boo boo, then yeah, I would do the other EQ. But it's doing like bass fills. Like, can you hear that? And having a punchy bass will keep you from making the bass too high. Like if I had the other EQ and I wanted those notes to come out, I would have to bring it up here. And it's kind of like unnatural to me in a way. Whereas this feels more natural. But, you know, it could always change. I could always change my mind in the future. Because that does happen. I always go back and forth with bass guitar. I center my bass guitar. Sometimes I go like slightly off. But I think with this song, he'll be centered. I think he uses a different bass tone here. So I might have to bring him down here. Because that's going to be a whole different mix. Alright, so we've shown attentions to drums and bass here. They kind of have, they're fading in. And this is something I didn't tell them that I did, but they don't just come in like they did in the recording. I have them fade in, and I kept going back and forth on that, like, do I want them to come in with their fills? Boom. Which I think sounded cool, but it kind of ruined the, I guess, the debut of marimba and guitar. Whereas, like, they're coming in just normally, like, bah, bah. Drums and bass were coming in with fills. So that was one reason why I wanted to fade in. The other reason I wanted to fade in is because in the actual video, their graphics are fading in. And that was, like, already planned before. As well as mine. Like, my graphic will fade in during this part as well. And what it's supposed to simulate is the tribe is alone in the beginning. Like, it's just these instruments, and then slowly we come in. Since the bass is punchy, the EQ might be better, or it might be better without the EQ. So I want to see what it does. So it shut up. So it adds bass to it, actually. It's kind of cool. I like it. And it's a good note. I don't think I have to pitch shift to that tom. I think it helps with the bass of the song. I just have to be careful with it. Can't be too loud, so I'm gonna like make it a little lower. Alright, so I've done drum 2, I've done drum set. Something I wanted to try with drum set was that mixing idea, or that editing idea where you don't, I wonder how that will sound. But I don't know if I want to do that. What is happening with these tracks? Why do they look so terrible? Oh, is it not open? Oh, that's why. Okay. So these are the drum tracks here. What I think will happen if I do that technique with this song is that the bleed will cut off. And there is some bleed because this song is very tom heavy. So I don't think that technique's gonna work with this song. Maybe you will see that technique with Hatman. Like, look at all this. There's all this ring everywhere. I should have tried it with Inner Cafe, but yeah, it's not gonna work with Like even floor tom. I can. I don't think he plays the floor tom at all. I can probably just delete that, or unless it's just quiet. I don't think he plays it at all. These mics are really good. Like I can't even hear the bleed. Okay, now I can. If I keep this mic on, it'll add some volume, like slightly, to the overall thing. I'll just go back and forth on it. Still hear the chanting. We'll worry about him. He looks fine. It looks like I've done work on the chant itself. Because yeah, that chant is really strange. And like how to capture it with a mic, because it's not like typical singing, you know, it's something else. And a lot of the styles I'm experimenting with Dreamcrack are very like, okay, how do I record that? Like it's like that. It's like, oh cool, I learned this really cool technique. How do I record it? And like no one really, there's like no how-tos on how to record certain styles of singing. They just, you know, ceremonial purposes or whatever. But there are recordings. And it's like, oh, okay, I can kind of hear, I can learn based off those recordings. I think Ninja needs to be louder, because it looks like he's playing over here. What is he even playing? So, I mean, we're probably not going to hear that. What I could do to Ninja is like make him go all around, because I think that's what I want, because he's supposed to emulate the forest. So I'm going to turn on an envelope. It's called the pan active envelope. So we're going to show some attention to him now. Then we'll do guitar. Guitar looks like I just used take 2, so we might just get rid of take 1. Like I didn't even edit the guitar, because like it's just playing chords. So it looks like he starts right away. So it probably starts even earlier than that. And he can start dancing here. So what this little dot thing I'm doing is gonna accomplish is like, I want the ninja to be heard here, and then he's moving over here, whereas all the other musicians are just like sitting in one place. The ninja, he's actually making this hand motion, and he's throwing off his sound around, because that's like something he can do. So that's his magical power. His instrument's very simple, but he has like extra stuff not seen in typical music setting. So we're gonna move him up. And because of that, he'll be able to be, like, you can hear him better. So we're gonna do a long pan there. We'll see how that sounds. So he pretty much has the melody over here. Pretty much. Like, there really is no melody here. Look at all this work I have to do on this guy. Alright, so we want him to be loud here. And then when guitar comes in, he's going to back off like maybe a little bit. Not too much. What was that? Let me see. Oh, I cut it off. Okay. Okay. I got scared there. Because I'm like, if that's a mistake, then that has to be re-recorded. If you noticed, like when that was playing, like this went to the red. And what I did is I just brought the master volume down. So if you like the mix, but you still like hear like something's like peaking, sometimes lowering the overall mix is better than messing with what you made. Sometimes it's not. So there's there's that too. Alright, so I just wanted to fix that. So let me go back to the Ninja. I think he's fine. I think he's gonna be okay, everyone. I think Ninja's a little too loud, so I'm gonna bring him down. Bring him down to here. Okay. Might be still too loud on some parts. Let's see. We'll keep him there for now. Could make him a little quieter, but we'll see. And I also have no idea what the mastering is gonna do to him. So sometimes, like the way we master, I have to like adjust the mix for. That's always fun. But I think it's gonna be fine. I think what will end up happening is I just would have to turn drum one up. I think the mastering is gonna turn it down, but it shouldn't affect anything else other than that. Alright, I want to show attention to guitar now. So, I think guitar is fine. But I'm going to lower these. And I was like, I thought I heard someone. So I'm just gonna listen to them solo. So right now I have them in the same spot. They're panned exactly the same. And what that does is it mixes them together. So since it's two of the same instruments, those two tambourines, putting them right next to each other makes it seem like one player. So that's the technique I'm using here. Do I want to use that? I think I do. Because in the story, it's one tambourine player. It's not two. But I thought it would sound cool with some tambourine rolls here. And I can do tambourine rolls. Why not do them, you know? I don't think I need any EQ for them, but I've never done it, so let's find out. If I do EQ anything, I think it'll be this, because I think the rolls will be, I like them the way they are. But this, I think, could sound better. Might not. Put some EQ here, and just kind of play around with it. I'm gonna put a preset. I'm gonna put a tom, even though it's cymbal, but there's a drum that I'm smacking, so let's see. So this makes it a little brighter. This makes it a little darker. This makes it sound terrible. This is supposed to get rid of mud. This makes it like you put a blanket over it. So I'm gonna make it bright. We'll see what that does. I don't really. Let's make it dark. Maybe if I make it darker. I think I like it darker. It's like you can barely hear the difference, so so that probably wasn't very fun to watch. But it's just so brightness and darkness in audio. Bright is if, I guess the best way to explain it. I had a good analogy, but like I remember my analogy for dark. So if someone says something sounds dark, that's like you're throwing something over it, like a blanket or something, making it sound kind of not bassy per se, but like just kind of like not so in your face. Where bright is in your face, and obviously you want some instruments to be bright, you want some instruments to be dark. Sometimes instruments can be too bright, which I think the tambourine part was kind of too bright, or the tambourine here. But I think it's fine now. Okay. Okay, one thing I noticed with tambourine, I have recorded it once before, I remember now. Yeah, the mastering is gonna like really bring it out. So it's probably best to keep the tambourine kind of quiet. It might sound too quiet like now, but when it's mastered, when I put it through that process, the tambourine's gonna be brought up. It's just something something that happens with like cymbals. And tambourine is like, that's like cymbals attached to the drum. And when we did record it, the tambourine, like I think if we did like a live recording when I was younger on probably like some video camera or something, but the tambourine actually overpowered like every instrument, and it wasn't even like mic'd or anything. So don't underestimate tambourines. We're gonna listen to tambourine all the way, see if there's anything I can think of, anything I can come up with. I want to hear the fire and everything too, though. What is that sound in the beginning? Is it Ninja? It is Ninja. Okay. It's weird. Oh, that's how it starts. Okay. That's bizarre. Okay. It's actually kind of scary. Okay. What I did there, I made the snare drum a little quieter. It was a little too loud. Brought the bass drum up. It was a little too quiet. See, stuff, you always catch stuff. And the mix here might be different than the mix here, so it's always fun to deal with. Alright, synth. Oh, this is the Yellow River. I'm gonna rename it. Believe it is. Yeah, alright, so this instrument is really cool. If you're wondering, what is that thing that sounds kind of magical? Like this, it's the voice called the Yellow River. And I like to, like when you get like a really good keyboard and you have all these different voices that people have made throughout all these years with Yamaha. And there's so many of them. If you treat each one like an instrument that doesn't exist, they're basically, I kind of consider them like pretend instruments or like fictional instruments, because they're made like very digitally and then plugged into a keyboard. Some of them are made acoustically, which is really cool. But yeah, like do some research on these voices. You'll find like some cool stuff, like how the electric piano was created and all that. But this instrument, at least for use in this song, is supposed to represent like color changes. At least it will do that in the video. So this instrument is playing a lot of notes, and it's playing some like lower notes too. Might be better on left. Well, we're gonna play around with the panning. So So it definitely needs to be like centered, but not dead centered. Oh, this is another thing. So I noticed that guitar is panned a little to the left, and it's also playing harmony. So I'm gonna pan the Yellow River a little to the right, not too far, but like maybe 7. This is 19. We'll match that. We'll do 19. We'll see. See if that's too much. We'll do 13. Alright, I think it sounds pretty good with the guitar coming in. But now I have to focus on the guitar. So I guess I have to do these in tandem, kind of. 'Cause they both have the same role in the song. So the thing with guitar, to add reverb or not to add reverb is the question. Is there enough reverb in the room? I don't remember where I recorded this. It might have been the music room, which is small. Sometimes I record in the living room, which is big, if I want some natural reverb. Yeah, use what you got. Different locations. Record outside. I wonder how that sounds. I haven't tried that in a while. Not since I was in middle school. Where's my reverb? Okay, so we have 2 types of reverb. I like to do Mix Alive. That's a preset. Oh, that was really loud. Okay. I think I'm gonna lower the guitar when the chanter comes in, because I think at this point I didn't know there was gonna even be a chanter when I recorded the guitar part. I didn't know this guy would work out, but he did. So we'll make the guitar a little quieter there. Might bring it up here. We'll see. Let me go ahead and do that. Let's be up a little bit. Actually, I like this reverb. Might use it for all acoustic guitars now. like that. I actually brought the guitar up even more there. Because we want him to get out of the way of the chanter. Yellow River's volume is fine here, though. But guitar, I play very dynamically. I kind of guess where I'm going to be. But yeah, that's the guitar. There's one more instrument we need to focus on here. And yeah, this is what mixing is. It's a lot of listening. So this is the most complicated one. Save the most complicated for last. The instrument that makes it sound like Donkey Kong Country, someone put it, the marimba. This is a real marimba. I like saying that proudly because it's one of the coolest instruments I own. And as you can see, marimba's a mess because I don't record marimba at my house. I record it at my parents' house. So I want to be careful not to do things like that. So each of these are takes, and each of these are, yeah, different takes. And it looks like here I use take 3, and here I use take 2 for a little bit, and here I keep on take 3. So what happens, and you can see your takes here if you don't want to explode. I usually explode the takes, but I decided with marimba I'm going to practice not doing that. So if I click this middle thing, it becomes take 2. And I have to click the middle for each one for take 2 to take effect. Otherwise, it'll be mixing the takes. Because you use 3 different mics to record marimba. We have one on the low, one on the middle, and one on high. So I call it bass, treble, and high. I usually don't hit many high notes. Especially in this song, I'm kind of just doing a pattern. So it's a lot of focus is going to be on bass and treble because it's in the middle. This is just like, I could even mute this if I want to because I'm not hitting any of the notes where the range of this mic is. It's just all bleed through here. It does add volume, which I usually have a problem with when I record marimba, but I think this came out. It doesn't look loud, but it came out like you can hear it pretty well. Alright, so that's the first part of the song. This might sound okay already. Over here, the marimba might have to be mixed differently. Because I do probably hit some high notes. Alright. What's up? Oh, thank you. Okay. Got pizza. It's I'll bite the pizza. I don't usually eat while I do this, but oh, that's a lie. Trying not to get close to the mic when I chew. I think I've eaten on here before too, in the stream. I think I had like chip or something. Yeah, sometimes I do that. Okay, so we're gonna take one more listen to this part and see if we find anything else, and then go to the next part, which hopefully will be pretty good. Hopefully the only thing I have to mix on this extra, the last part of it, will be marimba, because I don't even think guitar is playing here. It's just like marimba, piano. Oh, there's a piano I have to mix. Okay, so there will be some mixing. But let's hear it from the beginning. See if we catch anything slightly being too loud. It might be in the drums or bass guitar. I'm thinking, because they're the first ones we mixed. Oh yeah, I gotta fix the fire here. The fire's like all messed up. Okay, so this is the problem. Just copy, yeah, paste, and boom. That should fix everything. We come from the dream to unite and rebuild. So this is kind of tricky when because you don't know how long you want that fire to run. So the fire cuts off. And we want it to like continue. To unite and rebuild. So don't be afraid. Take my hand. Unite and understand. Okay, I could already hear the marimbas like freaking out over there. Before we get to that third part, I want to work on this here. So obviously this part is pretty loud. We're gonna make that quieter. Just that part. It's like I could normalize it. I don't know, I feel like normalizing would not help this part. So you just like fade it out slightly and then bring it back. So I'm gonna put another point here. So I lower this. Brings it down. I want it to sound more natural, and I want it to not that much. Yeah, that way it won't like be piercing. Like if you're trying to listen to vocals, you turn it up because you can't hear it, then this part hits you. All about balance. So don't be afraid. I think it could even be a little quieter, but I think overall it could Be a little quieter. Let me hear this beginning. We come from the dream to unite and rebuild. So don't be afraid. Take my hand. Unite and understand. Yeah, I think it's fine. So don't be afraid. It can be even a little bit quieter. So don't be afraid. Yeah, because that sounds like I'm moving like away, which is cool. So don't be afraid. Take my hand. So like if I were to do this live, I would have to move back so I don't peak the mic. As it captures my normal voice, something about this tone will make it go out of whack. So free, and I would move my head back like that. So don't be afraid. Is the piano too loud? Let me see. I think it could be quieter, at least in this beginning part. Oh, where does it come back? How many pianos I got here? There's like another piano. Oh, it's in here. That's in the wrong spot. So I need to move it. Okay. So Yellow River, I'm going to move all the way down here. Because we want to be organized. So this is a piano part. And we're just going to move it up like that. They're not really the same type of piano. They are, one is like ragtimey. The other one's more classical. We come from the dream to unite and rebuild. So don't be afraid. Now I'm thinking about EQing the piano. This usually never works. But I want to see how this EQ sounds on it, the bass low pass. We come from the dream to unite and some reverb and rebuild. So don't be afraid. Take my hand. Yeah, it makes the pianissimos sound darker, which is cool. Makes everything quieter. From the dream. Yeah, let me hear it. To unite and rebuild. So don't be afraid. Take my hand. Unite and understand. Good. Alright, I think that's fine. This might have to go on a totally different track because it's gonna have totally different effects probably. Let me see how it sounds with it though. Nah, I don't think that's gonna work. Alright. So I'm just gonna call this like honky tonk. Honky tonk piano is very bright, so we want that bright sound. The volume here is 5.8. We're gonna match that. Or not. Uh-oh, something's going on. It's out of sync. I'll just put it back in sync. Okay. That's good. Yeah, I think I just have to bring down the mid. So this is kind of interesting. What is happening here with marimba? So in the first part of the song, like this part, marimba's role was harmony. In the second part, the marimba's role is melody. So same instrument, different roles, which means the marimba has to be mixed differently here, because it has a different role. That's weird. Is this volume? Oh, it is volume. Okay. I thought it was panning. I'm like, something's up. Something's up. So we're going to have to break out these envelopes. And envelopes, at least in Reaper. Every DAW has like different names for this stuff, which is why like it's hard to find a good book on audio mixing, because DAWs just have different names. And the ones that I do find, they're like, oh, we're gonna use this program for terminology, and it's like super expensive program that I don't want to pay for when I'm just recording, like, you know, this kind of thing. Okay. Cool. So the envelopes are brought out. Marimba is open for business. So what I want to do, maybe bring down the top register. I gotta be careful with this note, because I don't know what's going on with that note. Marimba is so weird to record. All the how-tos are like, yeah, this is kind of the best way to record this instrument. I know it's not perfect, but good luck. That's all like they all are. It's like, try using 15 mics, but you really just need 2, and it's like, okay. Like all this extra insurance, you know. I might have to mess with the panning too. I think that's what's gonna happen. And it's good I know how to do this stuff with this song, because that's gonna help with the other song. Because marimba's in like every song, pretty much. So I'll take like what I'm learning here and apply it to other songs. It'll make those go quicker. So right now high mic is on the middle, so it's kind of working as like an overhead mic. That's not gonna cut it on this melody portion. We have to make it more to the right ear. And treble is all the way to the right. Is that correct? Oh, it's on the middle. Oh, it says right. Oh, what did I just do then? What is this pan envelope? Is it for the chanter? How many of these envelopes? What envelope is this for? Interesting. Oh, that's also true. I think this low one could be higher. EQ to the marimba overall. So here's how I'm gonna do that. So there's 3 marimba mics, but there's like no marimba folder. Let me make a folder for marimba. Yeah, marimba's always a hassle when you do like these really unique instruments for real. It can get kind of tricky. That's why everyone uses samples. There's a reason. Alright, so move the tracks down here. I'm gonna make this a folder. And now I could EQ the marimba as a whole. I could pan it however I want as a whole too. But my main thing is gonna be this EQ. Because I want to see what it sounds like with that warmer. Because it kind of sounds too bright, I think. So what I'm doing with marimba is I'm applying an EQ setting for like acoustic guitars and just messing with that. Basically, I think, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so there's a lot of feedback coming through. It's probably, I don't think it's a drum set. So it's all these instruments here. Yeah, because it's a lot. It's a lot of them. So with these more staccato instruments, I'm just going to cut them. Yeah, so tambourine. With these toms, I'm going to fade them out. So what I'm doing here is I'm making the ending cleaner. If you have on like headphones, you can hear all the feedback from all these instruments just kind of getting in the way of the end. And what all that feedback is going to do, the sound of the room, it's going to be brought up in the mastering. So we have to eliminate it now. That's one of those things. Yeah. I forgot how to fade out. Let me see. I thought you could just fade out. Let me see. I think I just usually use the markers. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that. That way I have control over it. Cause sometimes the fade out is like, you have to be like tricky with it. So we want it to go to nothing. And yeah, maybe next stream I can listen to some songs on here. Because, you know, that is also part of the process. You know, you get to a point in musicianship, whatever, where, like, no matter what you listen to, like, it's going to get into your music somehow. Like, even if you're not practicing it. It used to be, like, the only way I can get something from a composer was to play something that they made. So, like, that would mean, like, learning a Duran Gray song, or, you know, learning a Beethoven Moonlight Sonata, like, or even learning Pink Floyd songs on guitar. Like, in order to get that influence, I had to play it. But now I'm starting to realize, like, I don't even have to play it anymore. Like, I was actually practicing a lot of Spanish guitar, like Spanish rock and Latin rock, and I found that my solo in Pocket Master sounds more like Lonely China Day, which is what I was listening to. So I wasn't practicing Lonely China Day. I was practicing something else and ended up sounding out like what I was listening to. It's pretty cool. I like that new skill. Something's going on here. Okay, so a lot of feedback in the marimbas because it's 3 mics. That will do that. Okay. We might have to fade out marimba. I think that's gonna happen, which is cool because the markers are already here. So fade out marimba at the last note. And this is just to get rid of that room feedback that the mastering like will bring up. I don't know the science of that. I don't know why it does that. It's probably some kind of noise amplifier or something, I guess. Like it doesn't try to mix your songs, but it'll be like, oh, does he want this brought out? But it's not even trying to do that. Okay, so the only feedback left is in the drum set, but just taking out marimba did a lot because those mics, marimba's not the loudest instrument, so the mic sensitivity is turned up higher than usual. So drum set's kind of staccato-y, but I'm still gonna fade it out. Because this tom might still be ringing. Let me see. It'll be like a short fade out, which I think Reaper will just do for me. Or not. Maybe I have to do it. Maybe a little more. I think that sounds okay. No, I think I'm gonna have to fade it out. Yeah, because the mastering is gonna pick up that. But I'm not gonna put like a big fade out. Or a small one. I'm not gonna put a small one. I'll put a bigger one. Yeah, right here. Yeah. This tedious. But this is mixing, This is part of the mixing process, I think. What I'm doing, I'm really just getting these ready for mastering. And what I'll do with these mixes is I will listen to them. And then I'll create something called a soft mix, which means just lowering that a little bit. And then having the master go out. Like, just go at it. The mastering. Which is a pretty complicated process. We have our way of doing it. Is it the right way? I don't know, but it makes us as loud as advertisements, which is my goal. Because I don't want people to be listening to our music and having to turn up the volume all the way, and then boom, the next song is an advertisement or something. And just to be as loud as, maybe not the loudest, because there's no way we can be louder than someone who uses samples. Like, there's just no way. But we at least want to be at a point where, if you're listening to us at a comfortable level, like, you won't be able to tell that much. Yeah. The loudness war is real in the music industry. It's like everyone just tries to be the loudest, and that's what audio engineers, people who work in studios, like, that's their main goal. still something just cutting off. Oh, it's a bass drum. Probably. I think the cutoff might work earlier too, but I don't know. I feel like we have to fade it out. Could be wrong. What I'll probably end up doing is, like, when I'm mastering, I'll try both ways. But the first way I'm gonna try is this. Yeah. Where's that honky tonk piano? Okay, so I made that fade out too. But why? Why did I do that? Oh, I know why I did that. Because reverb cuts off. Little error on my part. I hit the stop button too soon. That's why I put that. I was recording, like, okay, hit too soon. But that's how you fix that. And it works with drum set too, I found out. So we did that a few times. I think the highest note is too loud. Just a little bit, just that note. And so what I'm gonna do is turn down the high mic, cause that's what mic did I use for this high mic? I feel like it was the one we used for snare. The old one. Okay, that worked. Wait, no, it didn't. Lower. So what I did here was I lowered the volume of the attack of the mallet hitting the stick, the mallet hitting the wood. I lowered the attack, but it fades in for the ring. Problem is, I still think the attack is still too loud. So we're gonna move on to the treble and do kind of the same thing, but in a smaller capacity. So I gotta zoom in and add another point here, lower the attack here, and I put it on the wrong spot. Alright, let's do the same thing here. Okay, here we go. Alright, so I need to hear it in context. Even quieter. Alright. That's getting there. It's getting there. Don't have water. Oh, I do. It's over there. Okay. Make it even. Let me even get rid of the ring. Alright. I want to really make that note quieter here too. It's now the left is getting it. That's too quiet. That could work for style. It's too quiet now. I think I need to bring it up a little bit. Yeah. I'm gonna be thinking about this note when I'm sleeping. Freaking note. We have a problem with the drum set. There's hi-hat and snare. I'm like, oh, there is cymbals in this part. Okay. We're almost like to the last process. So mixing, even I could run a masterclass on it if I, at least the way I do it, you know. But like there's like procedures that I follow. And I realize like procedures are everything. So here we want this snare to be louder for sure. Only on this part though. I feel like I want that snare drum even louder. That's pretty high though. Oh, okay, that's the problem. Like it got quieter. That's why. I made it. Whew. Okay, so let me explain what I just did there, because that was kind of cool. So in part one, this part, the bass guitar is a totally different tone. It's more punchy, it's more attack, all that stuff. So drum one is I made very bassy, like super bassy, super bassy. So that drum is super bassy, and the bass guitar could be punchy. It doesn't have to sacrifice as much punchiness as it would. Over here, the bass is bassy. So now my tom 1, and this part overall is more staccato, more I guess bony, outline-ish, or whatever. But what I have to do is make the bass, this drum 1, quieter, because the bass is totally fulfilling the role of a bass. I guess if that makes sense. And yeah, there's some musicians, like, they think, oh, if you play bass, your role is only bass, you know, like that's your instrument's role. It's like, I have kind of a different mindset. Like, you're gonna play melody on this part, but it's a bass guitar. Yeah, I like to make the roles like move around. Everyone gets their spotlight, because I want to show off all these instruments too, you know, showing you like, oh, what's that? Oh, that part sounds cool. What instrument is that? Rather than it being in the background all the time. If that makes any sense. Alright, I need to hear this part again. Ooh, I like that intro, because the bass hasn't even come in yet here. And then the bass, yeah, I like that. The marimba first note could be quieter, like the range of this instrument, and I'll just put it on the main marimba folder, put the volume. So now I'm gonna treat it like it's just one track, even though it's not. Because I realized that would have saved me some time down there. I thought I could mess with the highs and lows, but I don't think I can. If like a note is a problem, then I have to really get like a surgeon over here. I want this to be like flush. Little higher. Yeah, that's a very small difference. It's like slightly too loud, you know? Alright. I like it. Let me save it before it crashes. Reaper hasn't crashed in a while. I think it crashed once though. The other DAW I used to use would crash all the time. Alright. There's one last step to mix. Well, it's not the last step, but one more step. So the reason I start mixing with headphones is because like there's two schools of thought. I have monitors here, which I'm about to use. But there's two schools of thought on this, like that you should always mix with only monitors and nothing else. Um, they do sell like mixing headphones, but it's preferred that you use speakers. The reason I start with headphones is because the first thing I'm listening for is I am listening for balance, but I'm also listening for, does anything hurt? Um, could anything potentially hurt your ear? Like just a instrument hitting a certain note, you know? Because the goal is to make it as loud as possible. And when you have those notes, that could really determine how loud your track can be. So that's why I start with headphones. Now I'm focusing on balance. It should be pretty much balanced. Sometimes it's something slight, like just bass drum or bass guitar. It's usually something like that. Like usually that needs to be brought up or brought down. So these are not plugged in. Let me plug them in. Okay. Okay. So they're on now. Okay, what I'm gonna do is take these off. This has never been captured on my stream anyway. So I'm going to mute my mic talking here. Otherwise there'll be a feedback loop and YouTube will blow up. So we don't want that to happen. I have no idea what happens if you put a feedback loop on a stream. So we don't want that to happen. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this and turn this down, 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 down. You should still be able to hear. Yeah, you should still be able to hear what I hear. Okay. Turning it down. Alright, hopefully I don't forget to turn it back up.
to unite and rebel. So don't be afraid. Take my hand. Unite and understand.
I forget the rest of the stream to turn it back on. And let me turn these off. So yeah, it is. When I get to this part of it, it's more of like just listening through it to it throughout, throughout my day, putting it on my phone, listening to it on there, putting it, listening to it with speakers. But all I really need right now is this far into it. If you noticed, drum one I was turning that one down because it came out really loud with the speakers. Same thing with the bass guitar at the end. That might work for the mastering because I think the mastering might bring down this really bassy bass here. But we'll see. We won't know till we master. But what I have to do with Dream, which is why I need it at this stage, is I'm going to make a mock music video to it to send to Chris, because we're taking more effort into music videos and just having a visual representation of our music, because that's like super important these days. And just getting better at this release part. that's all part of it. The heart and soul is everything here, but the release is something I'm still working on, like personally. So I'll send him mock video because I gave him, because he draws pretty good. He can do some animation stuff, so I want to use that for this project. And it's like, so there's like some storyboards, and yeah, so there'll be a video. Most of it is us playing, but yeah, he's drawing the other people playing, which is cool. So like we're playing with fictional characters in this album. It all starts here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna listen to it with headphones one more time, and then we can move on to composition portion. Perhaps. Yeah, we can totally do that. Alright, track will probably start like here. Yeah.
to unite and rebuild. So don't be afraid. Take my hand. Unite and understand. Understand.
something at the end. Okay, so that bass tom was pretty quiet at first, but I can't really hear this tom at all. There we go. Also, kind of make kind of a little slow here. Wonder if I move this part. What part is it? It's this part here. It's like, I wonder what it sounds like further away. Oh, excuse me. Okay, maybe not. There we go. Maybe here. Nope. I think that's it. Yeah, now it sounds more together. So there's little things like that. And editing like this, you know, it's a it could do something to your ego, but you know, there's always going to be little mistakes like that where things just aren't aligned. You just move people around. It's no big deal. This drummer is like, now this one's off, so let me split that one. I must have been tired. That's like right here. I was just like, I must have been like looking at my phone or something. Hear that again, because this was always a part I kept thinking about, like, should I fix it, should I not? Now I fixed it. Yeah, it's together now. Sounds so weird there. Alright. So this one is ready to be listened to. Not finished, but listened to before the mastering takes place. Because it requires multiple listens, different things, put in my car when I'm driving. I listen to it everywhere. That's the next step of this of this track. Now it's like, you know, because it's something my wife and I talk about, like we're driving somewhere and I'm like, oh, do you mind if I just listen to this song over and over? She's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a process. It's part of the process. Sometimes I know right away, sometimes I don't. So definitely save that and render Dream Rough 2. I'm gonna call it rough mix. And it's just gonna be something I listen to for a while until, and I can even make the video based off this, because it'll be easy to just replace it later. And that's what a lot of Melancholy Dream was like. We would record the song, but then make the video over just a normal mix and master it later. Like, that's probably what's gonna happen to Dreamcrack too. So this over here is not Dreamcrack. This is another Endless Journal song, which means it's gonna be produced a lot faster than the type of song you heard last. I make sure not to use, I could use marimba if I want, honestly, but this uses mostly instruments we can record quickly without any hassle. Not to say it's easy though. This one's hard. So I'm gonna see where I left off and see where we go next. Alright, pretty cool. Alright. So, I just wanted to kind of take a look back on this one. You notice I changed the little TV thing here because the last song you heard was in the production phase. So it's getting mixed, it's getting mastered, everything's recorded. This song is in the composition stage. It's getting written. Once the song is done, it'll move here, and then it'll be in the same spot as the last song you just heard. Until finally release. This is where Inner Cafe is. It's released. I might even add another one if I figure out a good way to actually, take it off the ground. But I don't know that part yet, so it's still forming. But yeah, this song is here. It's in the composition phase. And the only thing I kind of wanted to show you was this trombone part here. One of the things annoying with Guitar Pro is like the note it plays is actually lower than this. So to get the accurate sound coming at me, I have to write the trombone part an octave higher. But when I give it to him, I'll probably just put that. And you can't really put dynamics. Like, you can, but you have to like manually put the letters. And when you're writing trombone, you have to be careful with breathing. Trombone takes breaths to play, so if you have too many notes, he can't breathe. So you have to make sure the melody kind of focuses on that. It's the limitation to all wind instruments, you know. But that means you just have to get more creative about your part. Like, you're not gonna have a trombone playing just 16th notes back to back. You're gonna have a little bit of different rhythm. But yeah, I just wanted to show that song, just the progress I did. I probably keep working on it little bits throughout the day. Sometimes, you know, I don't really. Sometimes I just get home and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just do something. I just end up doing this. You know, it's what I do to relax, to unwind. Like Saturdays, I make sure I do it, but throughout the week, I just kind of work on things too. So I'll show you that when that's ready. I wanted to show one more thing today, and that is the stage of dissociate, which is in this folder, I believe. Perhaps. Let me see. Is it here? Yeah, it is here. Truth Machines. Oh, the click track for no sound. I guess that's important. Let me find that. Click tracks with. That's okay. That's okay for now. Oh, this is the wrong one. Oh goodness, maybe I can't show it. Oh, you know what I could just do? I could search in recent. Take a look at this while I do that. Okay, it shouldn't take too long. Abort project, and I'll just open recent. Okay. Interesting. Alright, I got it. It took a while. That's because, like, the way we do things now is a little different than the way we used to do things. So I'm still getting used to, like, the organization. Like, we updated the DAW. I mean, that was a long time ago, but, you know, it still takes time to, like, master these DAWs, to know everything you can do. But this is a song that is in the recording phase and still in the practice phase for Chris and Anthony. But as far as I am concerned, for me, I'm here. We're recording them. And yeah, they are too. We did rehearses too. But we're here with this song. I've recorded my parts here. This is something, like, if you're working with other musicians, this is good stuff to know. Here, look at all these click tracks. So I have different click tracks for them. One was for me. That's this one without the synth. I don't need that one anymore, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. I have a click track, one with no sound. Oh, this one says no sound too, but it looks like there is sound. I think this one has all the MIDI instruments, so if I play it, it's like MIDI instruments playing all the parts, which is sometimes something we do when the parts are written. That way, like, because sometimes it might be hard to come up with like what you do to a certain part of the song. Like, hey, I know the other instruments are super calm, but I want the drums to go crazy here. Like, stuff like that. So we make like a MIDI drum part and everything. This click has no sound at all. It's just the click. This tempo doesn't change too much, so really just clicks. I forget what speed. I think it's like 170 or something. This click sounds like it has everything too, so I have two of them doing that. This click is just snare, bass drum and or bass and drums. And what I used this click for was to record my part. I had these for reference in case I forgot how to play them. Some of these parts are sequenced. That means I'm not playing them at all. And that's because we have like timpani. So if you are wanting to use instruments you don't own and resort to samples, this is a good idea to do. Instead of me hitting the keyboard notes on the timpanis, you use mallets to hit. So when you hit timpani, it's like it sounds very different than me pressing the key. So I made a MIDI track and used the sample I liked and recorded that sample playing the part. So that's what it's doing here. As you can see, it's like phrasing. Like if I start it here, it's quiet, as you would do on a real timpani. Might even throw in like mute finger sound effects, probably not, but that's what I'm going for here. And it comes in on some parts.
I'll keep my wishes to myself. No.
So
I'll keep my
there you go.
wishes to myself. No need to pester you anyway.
So that's kind of like the thing that makes it special, or this song special, is like that song has a timpani in it. Oh dude, is that thing like picking up my voice? That's cool. Yeah, maybe we could do recording sessions streaming. I don't know what would happen if I hit record though. But yeah, this song is in the recording phase, so we're still getting parts recorded. Some parts are MIDI, so the real drums are not here yet. We'll record those a number a day. I already recorded vocals. I'm thinking if I have to do them again, I will, but so far, like, I think there's only one take here that I would change, but everything else is just the final take. Because that's how I record. I make sure the final take is perfect, and then the other takes if I need, like, a crazy idea or something. But I always end up using just one take. Because I always know like what I want, whereas like another keyboardist, I'd probably use different takes. 'Cause he doesn't know exactly what I want, and neither do I guess. But yeah, that is the song. Like once Anthony records drums, the release date is like not too far behind that, because it takes me like I think a few sessions to edit a video. At least like Inner Cafe, like it didn't take me that long to make that video. And it'll be in the same style. And I already know like there's like two big things I have to do for the video, but they'll be fun. They'll be fun, so and they'll be done pretty quickly. But yeah, it'll be a little different. But yeah, these are all the parts I recorded. They're kind of a mess. Some of them, like the vocal tracks, like there's still 3 takes. The keyboard track, there's 2 takes, but I think I'm just gonna use that bottom take. I think I already basically edited the keyboard 'cause I just do one chord slightly late and I just move it. But yeah, so what I did is I made them a click, 2 clicks. One click with just me and my parts without theirs. So this is what I give them to practice to.
Blow out the candles and turn off the lights. I'll keep my wishes to myself.
I give them that click track, and then I give them a click track that does this. That has their part so that they can hear it.
Giving up my immature dreams. I've given up my old beliefs. But
And when you practice to that one, like, if you want to do the part like exactly how it is, then you can get a good feel by practicing with that one. If you want to practice a song like where you're gonna add things that aren't there, then you do the no click or the no MIDI tracks. And it's something I do, give them the option. They're free to add like whatever they want to their parts. I'm not one of those composers like, no, you play it as I write. Like, I trust them. And I think the only thing I tell them, like, hey, be careful with this part because it lines up with like the timpani, or you and Chris are doing like the exact same rhythm here, so just watch out for little things like that, because that could be easily like, oh, like you didn't see it. All right, but I think that was a pretty good session. Got quite a bit done. Mixing Dream was something I always wanted to figure out. I honestly thought it would take longer. So you keep seeing me allude to this. This is the process. So I kind of think of music making as like a factory. You're putting things along an assembly line. Like, here's a song, here's a song, here's a song. While this song's here, there's another one coming, and another one, and another one, and it's just going through this line. I wish I had more than one graphic, but it's multiple, and it's just going through. Like, that's what I want. It starts at a rough phase, like just an idea. I think I showed some examples of that the last stream. Some of the songs in the rough phase. The one I was composing was one of them. Composition, which is where Endless Journal is. You saw that song earlier. Practice, you've seen me do a guitar solo, like practice one of those. You'll probably see more of that coming up because some of the newer songs are getting kind of difficult. Sometimes I don't need much practice, so. Recording. Yeah. This part, I don't know if I can capture. I think there is a way, and I might try it, like maybe when we record drums. Like, it'll be just with my laptop and just us recording it. I think that'll be fine. It could get a little tricky, but I think it's possible. As far as like recording keyboards now, that would be probably impossible. But after recording, it goes to mixing, mastering, the production side of it, audio engineer side of it. Get it mixed, get it listened to, do the best we can. That's the moral of all of this. Do the best you can. Some people are perfect, and some people aren't. And actually, nobody's perfect. Everyone has their faults, no matter what we say otherwise. After production, you release. And that could mean giving the song to someone you love, uploading it on YouTube, whatever you do to put your song out there where people can listen to it. Maybe I'll go through the details of how we release stuff, because we are on stores and all that stuff. So I can go into that one day. That might be streamable even. Maybe I'll stream a release. Wouldn't that be cool? Um, that's our Phoenix. So I talk about some of these videos earlier. Before I started streaming, this was kind of like the precursor to that. This song is Crappy Christmas, like the making of, and that song's already produced and everything. It's already on YouTube, so you can like watch a detailed breakthrough of that song. I have this up here. The trick is to try to figure out how to play it. If you ever stumble across this video, try to play it and see if you can figure out how to, because that's the tricky part. Of course, Melancholy Dream. That's all. If you're interested in like the end product of this kind of style of making music, these are a whole bunch of songs in our catalog through music video. Psychedelic Journey. So it's cool. Melancholy Dream is pretty neat to check out. It's definitely unique. And of course, we're everywhere. Spotify, Amazon Music. I think we're even on the pirate sites. We've made it. We're on the pirate sites now. I forgot how I found out about that. I'm like, oh, this site has like everything, and then I put our name. It even has us. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, we're everywhere. This is our newest song, Inner Cafe. And it's another way to frame our music. It's the Endless Journal. It's basically where our singles are going to go. How they're going to be released on Spotify is going to be like in little collections rather than just going one song, because I noticed like on Spotify songs do a lot better if they're in an album or a collection than just a single. So I thought like, oh, we have to just keep making singles, but instead I went for this idea where I think there'll be like a 5-track album called The Endless Journal Volume 1, and then another one, Endless Journal Volume 2, and it'll just keep going because it's endless. And that's where all our singles are going to go. These are like standalone songs, standalone meanings. Like they're still pretty deep, but they're like taken at face value. It's not like a long story, or it could be, but like, I don't know. It's going to be endless, and you can jump in anywhere, basically. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It was a blast showing off this stuff, and it's good for me to have in the future too, just in case I need to look back on anything. All right, guys. I will see you in the next stream.